So I creep, yeah. But what they don't tell you is what creeping may cost you. For Ned Fulmar, it cost him his livelihood and his family. Ned Fulmar was a member of Try Guys. Try Guys describe themselves as a group of guys who will try pretty much anything for the audience entertainment. He got caught creeping with one of his employees, and 3 years down the line, he has decided to come forth and discuss what happened.
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmar. 3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer. It became a massive public scandal that caused a lot of pain to a lot of people. I know that I represented myself as a kind of wife guy who talked about his relationship and put that out there for public consumption. And you, as a viewer, I know that I broke your trust.
You ain't break mine. But go off.
I betrayed my spouse, co-workers, friends, family, and I betrayed you. And I know it's not just about cheating, that I was a company owner and having a relationship with a producer who was engaged and friends with all of our friends and coworkers. It was understandably a messy and devastating situation for everyone involved. And I was the cause of it. I did that. And I can't change it. I can't change the past. I can own it and accept it and try to change.
It's the fact that you replayed this and still posted this part of the video, which is really beyond me because, one, you're trying to sound sympathetic, but you really just come off as slow and wasting my time. You knew exactly what you were doing. You was engaging in front of the t-shirt type of behavior. You just saw you got caught. You had that woman smiling all up in your wife's face, all the while you was back there clapping her cheeks and you smiling in her fiance face. Trifling. You risking people's money because you can't keep it in your pants.
How I show up differently in the future. So I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I hurt you. And I hope to make amends over time. And one step is to publicly witness the pain of my partner, Ariel. This is a conversation with Ariel in this video. It's painful at times. It's honest, vulnerable, brutal. But it's necessary for her to move forward, and I'm grateful for the chance to witness it. As disappointed as we were that something so private and painful became such a public spectacle, I get why people were so outraged, and I understand that that is the reason that she can't move forward.
It became public because you decided to be out here cheating publicly instead of keeping it behind closed doors in a hotel room, Ned. And if she wanted to address it, she could have did this on her own platform, but she did it on yours. You need her to give you the stamp of approval. Okay, guys, Ned and I are together. I don't want you to send any hate his way. I just want us to be able to move on with our lives separately. That's what you want her to say. You ain't slick. Stop all this slow talking.
With any sort of public thing without addressing this. So this is that. This is a conversation where we answer your questions. We share what we've been up to these last 3 years and what you can expect from us moving forward. It's about an hour long. And I know that from my perspective, I want to tell stories of curiosity and empathy. And I want them to be meaningful and have value in people's lives. So I hope that you find this impactful. So please join me for this conversation with Ariel Fulmar.
This video is 1 hour and 8 minutes and 30 seconds long. This could have been 1 hour and 4 minutes because you could have stopped all that slow talking.
Well, here we are.
Back again.
At it again. It feels weird. It feels a little awkward.
Yeah. Back in a podcasting room.
Yeah.
I mean, we've certainly had a lot of conversations where we've sat like this,
Yeah, that's true.
but not, conversations that are meant for the public.
Mm-hmm. Is it strange to think that people are watching this and listening to it rather than just being in like a therapy setting?
Oh, heck yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm on the verge of like standing up and walking out of this room. Absolutely.
Same.
I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? But no, I feel like this is a necessary thing.
Yeah, we've kind of been just keeping our lives very private for the last 3 years.
We have.
And just almost hiding from the world.
We have been hiding. We've been hiding from the world. And I'm not going to lie, it's been kind of great.
Mm-hmm.
It's been kind of great to be super private.
And it's ironic because we don't stop becoming recognizable figures. People still come up to us. People still recognize us. And to the extent that we're kind of moving forward in our lives, that's something that you've talked about. It's like, how can I move forward in my life without people knowing the next part of my story if they're still stuck on the 2022 part of my story?
That's
Ned decided to cheat with his producer, so I got a divorce and I took him for half of his assets. And now I'm living my best life. And that's it. He and I have a custody agreement. We are dedicated to our children.
that's kind of the thing, isn't it? And that's the whole reason that we're here, because we're stuck in 2022.
Yeah, at least as far as they know.
Exactly. we have moved on with our lives.
Yeah, we've moved on for a while
We
now.
have moved on with our lives.
I mean, Ned, you moved on with your life while you were still married. So your wife finally got the invite to move on with hers.
But like, as far as everybody else is concerned, we're still stuck in 2022.
Yeah.
And, that brings us to the whole reason that we're here, and the reason that we can't walk out of this room, because we live in a social world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we can't move on with our lives if we don't, move on
Mm-hmm.
publicly.
Mm-hmm. Like publicly reestablish the context of who we are, how we relate to each other after being so public with our relationship before.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a really strange thing, actually, like that we can't do anything publicly without kind of addressing this first.
well, yeah.
Yeah, but you can. This could have been done in a quick statement on IG. They are no longer a partnership outside of their children. So this idea that we have to address this, no, you want me to address this because you want to get back on YouTube. You want to expand your horizon, and this is still hovering over your head.
Yeah, I mean, in 2022, it got so big, right? The whole scandal, it grew and grew and grew and grew, to the point where it just became this thing that just like got so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just sort of hid away from it, you know?
Same.
And going completely dark was the only thing that I could think to do. And for the last 3 years, I've just hidden behind the scandal, you know? And now, like, now I can't get out from behind it.
Yeah, because it's a big step to like sit down and do what we're doing and to talk about it.
Right. But even like going out in public with like my kids or just going out to dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that people see is the scandal.
Yeah. It's a big loss.
It's a big loss, but it's a really strange way to go about your normal life. You know, like I am a human who has needs. Like I want to have regular friends.
She wants to date. And she don't want to be attached to him no more. That is what this is giving. I think she likes not being so much a public figure, but he is over there nervous and he's on edge about what she might say. He's hoping that she doesn't put him on blast the way he feels he deserves to be put on blast, which is why he's making this very awkward. I knew of Try Guys, but I didn't watch it enough, so I don't really know who these people are. So if I saw them in public, they would just look like two regular white people. But I understand that I might be in a minority when it comes to this.
And I don't want to like walk up to somebody that I want to be friends with at like preschool and have to start every conversation with like, my personal life is a dumpster fire, as I'm sure you know, but also, do you want to be friends with me? You know, like, I'm not going to lie. I have some really authentic friendships that have started that way. But like, I don't want to go about my life starting friendships like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of want the new friends to know the context of like who you currently are as a
Yes,
person.
exactly.
I remember I have met some people, like made new friends or kind of introduced myself to strangers. It's like, oh, let's exchange Instagrams. I'm like, well,
Right?
Here's mine, but couple of caveats. One, I have a lot more followers than you might expect. Two, all of this is pretty outdated. And three, don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
You
Just
probably don't want to Google me.
Get to know me first. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to be just sort of seen as the sum of your mistakes for me or the sum of your past for you.
Right.
And the challenging thing is it's been complicated for a while. I mean, we are still friends. We have children together. We go on trips together.
Right.
Like, there's a spectrum of being together, not together.
Right.
Like there's ways in which we're together, but it's like the way that everyone wants to know, like, are you guys still like an item? Are you guys still a couple? Like, no. We really haven't been at all this last 3 years.
No.
Y'all ain't been a couple for a while, Ned. It's been more than the last few years. Unless it was just open on your end and closed on hers. I don't understand why you sitting up there trying to look sad. Because you started this. This is the consequence of your action. And then on top of that, he's looking over at her for approval. He a little bit more cool than he putting on. He ain't as calm, cool, and collected as he seems.
Like, there's moments when we kind of tried, but just because you go to a Taylor Swift concert together doesn't mean that you're, that all is forgiven and you're...
No, like, people ask me like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no.
Good.
Absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No. No. Like that, like I don't even
I'll say forgiveness is more for you to be able to move on with your life and not be stuck in the past. And I think a lot of times when people talk about forgiveness, people assume that you automatically have to let somebody into your life. And that is not the case. Forgiveness is a process. He betrayed your trust. Boundaries need to be put in place. And forgiveness does not give you the right to continuously break that boundary. They have to earn your trust back. They have to prove that they are trustworthy. And Ned, you've proven to be an untrustworthy and selfish individual. And it's crazy work to me that you sitting on that couch trying to minimize the negative impact your affair had on the people around you. For your wife, you was out here playing with her health, and hopefully she wouldn't got tested, playing with her stability, taking food up out of her mouth. Because when this scandal came out, you got booted from Try Guy. What about your children? How you going to explain this to them? Your wife, mental health, is crazy work because she got people sending her photos of you out here slobbing down another woman. All the while she thought you was being faithful. So now she having to reevaluate everything in her life. And you walking around without a care in the world because you got to do what you wanted to do. And then talking about the relief that you felt when all of this came out. She ought to went over there and just clocked you dead in your jaw for even murmuring something like that. Relief. Yeah, you would have thought you had some relief. You willingly wreaked havoc in multiple people's lives. And if I was her, I would have expedited your stupid prizes. Because I would have called my lawyer and got prepared to take you for everything that you had. Anything that could have been shaken would have been coming my way, good sir. Everybody has to clean up your mess. Your wife's still cleaning up your mess, which is why she's on your podcast. Because you too much of a coward to admit that you are a dog. Roof. If you would have just went up there and said, you know what? I was out here cheating on my wife and I enjoyed it. That's what you should have said. And then you could have moved on graciously. Because there's a whole bunch of people like you out there in the world. Then the negative impact it had on your business. Your business partners and you spent years building the Try Guy brand success that it is today. Just for you to go and put a stain on the brand. And they had to do damage control, which cost them a significant amount of money because they had to cut you out of content. They had to snatch content. So they're losing money that way as well. And I'm sure they had some sponsors calling in. Not to mention, he was in a position of power. And I'm sure that they went and they looked back to see if he had relations with any other employees.
You know, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no. But also I feel like forgiveness isn't the goal at this point. Mm. You know, we've been together for a long time. Mm. And you are the father of my two beautiful children. And we know each other really well. And I you know, we've worked through a lot of stuff. And the fact that I can be around you and still like have a good time and like enjoy spending time with you and enjoy spending time with my kids. Like, I think that's a win.
Yeah. It's taken a lot of hard work to do that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, as we've adjusted, we've recalibrated our relationship more towards a platonic friendship. And
so you recalibrated your relationship before you even got a divorce. Cut the cap. For her, it took a lot. Ariel, you ain't standing on business enough for me, ma'am, because it's been 3 years and y'all are still legally separated instead of divorced. And that's why you're not able to completely move on and heal the way you should, because you still are allowing this man access into your life. That's why he still has hope when there should be none. There shouldn't be a doubt in his mind. Y'all don't have to keep having this linger because ain't no relationship for it to linger in. His actions said that he wanted to be free. You need to go ahead and grant his request. Go find you somebody that want to be with you and respect you because he don't. That's why he was able to sit up there and have an affair for almost a year.
Then, it's just been challenging. But like, I think we're getting to a point of sort of celebrating that and really like embracing it and accepting it for what it is as we're like grieving the past. And, it's hard to hear you saying like, no, I don't forgive you. But of course I get it. I mean, you're still, as much progress as we've had, you're still very angry.
Yeah, of course I'm angry. We're talking about like not having sat in this position for 3 years, and like, yeah, of course I'm still angry. We lost a lot. There was a lot that happened 3 years ago. It was, I found out about your affair from the fans. And I was so blindsided that somebody sent me a picture, and I couldn't. It was like my brain couldn't compute. And it's like for some reason I didn't see what was actually there.
You was having a hard time processing and your brain was probably trying to protect you. Clean off my glasses because I know I must be tweaking. I know that's not the producer. I just spoke to him. He told me he was up in his hotel room. So why he out holding hands with her? You just really out here giving it up. You had no shame whatsoever. You were that emboldened in your sin that you didn't care about keeping it behind closed doors. You was cool with it being public. That's why I don't have no sympathy for you. I broke your trust. No, you just showed the world who you really were. And I feel sorry for her because that sucks. Getting that type of stuff. But harsh truth, once you accept it, you can now deal with it and move forward.
In the picture, I thought it was your sister. And I remember sending it to you and being like, what's your sister doing in New York? It was, and I think back on that and I think like, what was like, how did I not see what was going on? Like what was fucked up in my brain that I couldn't actually see what was happening in this picture? Like the picture was right there in front of me, Mm-hmm. And then the pieces just started falling and falling and falling, and like, and then more pictures started coming in, and more pictures and more pictures and more pictures, and it is so wild how we live in this world where everything is so public. Like, you don't realize it, but everybody's taking pictures of you everywhere you go.
Ma'am, don't you want to take your feet off of that couch?
And it's kind of scary, actually. And it makes you realize that whenever you leave your house, you're like, you're not safe, and it kind of like, and then after everything happened, I I sort of went into this like this weird state where like nothing was safe and nothing and nobody, like I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust the public. I couldn't trust you. I couldn't trust my friends. I just stayed inside, like, because there were cameras everywhere. You know, it was like...
A part of me wonders if this affair wasn't made public, would she have stayed with him? And I'm leaning towards yes. I think that because it was so public, she had to make a decision, and that was her leaving him for embarrassing her. And rightfully so. The public is safe. Your husband just isn't safe because he didn't think of the consequences of his actions and how that would affect his family and his business. And even now, when he sits there, he's still not processing this. If he could go back, he wouldn't change him cheating. He would change him getting caught.
It was so unsafe. Everything was unsafe. Yeah, it took a long time to like get back to myself.
How did having it become such a public scandal kind of change everything for you?
She just told you how it changed everything for her. Was you not listening? She told you she did not feel safe and she wanted to hide. It was you that should have went and hid. It was the producer that should have went and hid. And here you are questioning her on how she felt about you cheating once again in front of millions of people and sounding so dry doing it. So in a sense, to me, you're re-traumatizing her without a care in the world. You should be the one put under a microscope, not her. She's the victim. You want her to explain her feelings toward you so you can be compensated for it.
Did it make it worse? Did it make it easier? Did it just sort of make it surreal?
It was so many different things. And it was all tied in together too. You know, I think that, and it all, it's like the trauma of discovering that you've been, that like everything that you know isn't real. And then add to it this other part where you're sort of being watched by cameras, which isn't something that's like a part of our lives. Like, yes, we are somewhat public figures, but like we've never had cameras waiting outside of our house. Like that's not something that we're used to. Like we're not like celebrities. That's not, that's not a part of our lives. And this was a period in our lives where we had like, there was like a car following us, and it was really strange because we had just, you know, found out that we were dealing with this, you know, with this cheating situation, with this betrayal. We decided to find a new couples therapist, right?
Right.
And so we were driving to our new couples therapist, and so we were in the car together because we decided to drive together, and you decided you needed a snack, and so you had a Tupperware with you, and I had my jug of water, and we got in the car together because we were like, well, why don't we drive together? We're going to the same place. And so we get in the car, and we were driving there, and so you're like eating your apple as you're driving, and I turned to you and I was like, Ned, I think there's a car following us. Like I'm pretty sure this car has followed us from our house. And you were like, oh, that's weird. like, I wonder what that could be, you know? And then when we park outside of the couples therapist's office, and we see that this car has a camera, I was like, I think that person just took a picture of us. And so we went inside and we talked about it a little bit, and then we had our therapy session, and then we came out, and then there were multiple people outside, and it was probably one of the strangest situations that I personally have ever been in. I did not know what to do with my face. And so my reaction when I don't know what to do with my face is I smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
That is my go-to reaction when I don't know what to do with my face. I just smile like an idiot.
That was my reaction too.
I smile like like a cat. I just smile. And
this was
so
this is the video that everyone saw.
Saw. And
leaving couples therapy.
we're leaving couples therapy, looking at each other like we don't have a care in the world. And it is because we are absolutely just beyond like this is so bizarre. What is happening right now? This has never happened in our lives ever. We don't know what's going on. Like, let's just get to our car, and we're just like, just smile. Like,
my biggest question is how many times he done cheated on you. Y'all's in couples therapy for a reason. I think he's a perpetual cheater. And she said when we found out about the scandal, he already knew about the scandal, ma'am. She was trying to say that paper. Because this man messed up their bag big time.
I can see how that caused you to really feel unsafe and mistrusting of the whole world. Just want to acknowledge that and just note that it's like because of things I did.
Duh. I know you didn't think it was because of something she did. Like, sir, we know.
That caused you to experience that.
yeah.
What was that moment like when everything changed for you?
Awful, obviously. It was kind of surreal. I thought to myself, like, what would somebody who's been cheated on, like, what would somebody in a movie do?
Really?
He be on a t-shirt, pimp. I would have took a flight through New York because ain't no freaking way. You got me all the way messed up. And however many times he told you it was more than that. How many women he told you it was more than that. Talking about what would somebody in a movie do? Call a divorce attorney. His thing is he's sitting up there all calm down. Once she finally move on, start dating, and get out there and do her, he gonna have a problem.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking like of a specific movie or something like that. I was thinking like, what would, like, what do people do in this situation? Like, I wasn't thinking I wasn't thinking for myself. I was thinking like what do I do next? And I remember we were in New York, and you were just picking me up from the airport. And I was so like naively. So you were driving a rental, and I just naively looked over to you in the driver's seat, and I was like, why was Grace in New York? Like, I didn't realize Grace was in New York. Why was she, referring to that picture that I had sent to you? And you looked over at me with this look on your face, and it was like the veil just fell, like this, like I knew in my brain that something was going on, but I just sort of refused to believe it. And then when I saw that, like, just wildly guilty look on your face. Like you wanted to tell me something. And I didn't even let you say anything. I was like, turn this car around. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember it happening like that, but it doesn't matter.
How do you remember it happening?
Oh, I mean, you asked me a couple of different follow-up questions as I just sort of answered them. And then, once I, answered it in such a way that you knew exactly who it was and what had happened, then you were like, take me back to the airport.
Yeah.
That part was very cinematic, if you were trying to be like in a movie.
Turn this car around.
So this is her and him. Look at they legs. I can't unsee it now. This video is from 3 months. Nah, it's this one for me. Okay. And this is the one that I believe she got sent. Okay. So, it said in December 2021, Alexis' fiance Will went through her phone and saw her and Ned had hooked up while on some work trips. They ended up staying together, but Will reached out to Ned wanting him to back off. Beginning of this month, I want to say 9-1 or 9-2, Will and Ned's wife Ariel received videos and pictures from a few people showing Ned and Alexis making out at a club as well as holding hands during the day at a market in NYC. Ariel had just landed in NYC to meet up with the Try Guys and their SO, but got the news, confronted Ned, and when he confirmed him and Alexis had been in a relationship for almost a year, she got back on a plane and came back to LA immediately. Not sure how the NYC event played out, but Ned and Alex were suspended almost immediately. When Try Guys had talks with employees, many said they noticed flirting, knew they had lunch hookups, stayed at each other's places occasionally, and showed up to events together. Example, Harry Styles concert, and had big feels something was up. So this news has been aware to the Try Guys for close to a month. But what sparked the social media questioning and the uproar a few days back was Will releasing some images of his DMs he received on Reddit. Obviously, Ned has been fired.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of sort of delusions and rationalizations that you, as the person doing that, sort of are telling yourself as to why it's not so bad, or why it's going to be okay, or why actually this talked about it in this way. And then it's like, I remember that moment, it all just kind of like fell down, where I could see how devastated and just completely traumatized you were. And then it was just like, oh, everything changed for me as well. I'm like, oh no,
I don't think you cared, sir. I still don't get that vibe that you care. I don't know if he always had a dry personality, because once again, I did not watch them, but he felt invincible until he found out that he wasn't. He lost a lot and now he's trying to get it back, but I don't think he'll ever get it back the way he had it.
Like I've been hurting this person that I love this whole time.
You didn't realize until then?
Well, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of...
What did you tell yourself, Ned? Please ask him that, Ariel. Like she said, it took you that long to realize that you was hurting me. It didn't. He just didn't care, Ariel. He didn't care that he was hurting you. He didn't care about the consequences. He just cared about the moment of satisfaction he was getting. He probably was getting off on it. A lot of them get off on being deceptive and playing in your face.
Compartmentalize, or I guess.
Interesting.
It's sort of a, it's like a addictive cycle, kind of feeling really guilty and ashamed, and then telling yourself the ways in which it's, kind of just lying to yourself. And then, yeah.
You didn't feel shamed enough, and you didn't feel guilty enough. Enough shame and enough guilt would have stopped you in your tracks. You're embarrassed because your business is out there. You're forced to feel shame because now you're known as an adulterer. You're forced to feel shame because of how you tarnished the Try Guys brand. You're being forced to take accountability for your actions.
And I did want to tell you, and there was probably a small part of me that was sort of relieved to not be keeping a secret, I guess. Is that hard for you to hear?
No, that part's not hard for me to hear. I think it's, I've done a lot. I've spoken a lot with other betrayed partners over the last 3 years. And it's something that I've heard a lot. This idea of, like, when there's this sense of relief when the partner who's doing the betraying is able to finally tell the betrayed partner that about all the things that they have been doing, and kind of put their shame onto the other partner.
Right.
They, in that, like, sort of release of their like, of all of that, like,
yeah, shame and guilt
and guilt that they've been holding. It's almost like they feel so much relief, but the partner then has to accept it. And that's exactly what happened. When you told me, suddenly then I had to take all of that guilt and shame of your affair, and it was so much to carry. So much. Like,
But you didn't have to. You could have left. And you're still trying to carry it. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't have to help him move forward. He jacked this situation up. He should be dealing with it on his lonesome. You shouldn't have did this interview because you're still carrying around his shame. You're still having to hold that attachment of him cheating on you for the world to see. You're being traumatized while he's sitting back there just as calm, cool, and collected. No, you explain this to your audience, and you, ma'am, move on with your life. He made that decision. It wasn't a mistake. It was a decision that he made over and over and over again. So you need to be cool with doing whatever it is that you need to do for you to get a peace of mind and peace of spirit.
and I know that, like, and suddenly something that, like, you had, that, and it, like, the wild thing is that this was something that you had done. Like, I had no part in this. This was not, like, you could even say that you had done this to me, like,
Yeah.
I was the victim of this situation. And yet, when you told me, I had to like accept your guilt and your shame. And in our like society where couples are, especially married couples, like when men have affairs, women are often looked at as like, well, what did you do wrong? And it is so hard to get out from under that of like, well, what did you do to make him look elsewhere? You know, were you not a good enough wife? Were you not, did you not make him happy enough? You know?
You was in therapy and they could have helped y'all uncouple, because you can accept that he cheated. Your acceptance doesn't mean that you have to say. Your acceptance means, you know what, okay, you did this, I'm gonna do this. And I understand that they have kids, so that makes it even more difficult, because now you have to consider two other people. I think a lot of times when children are involved, people use children as a reason to stay, even though they know themselves that that situation is unhealthy.
And there's so much shame there. And I'm so tired of holding that. I'm so tired of holding it.
She's carrying that burden and she needs to let it go. Forgiveness is, hey, you know what? I forgive you and I'm choosing to move forward. And there's boundaries in place. And you also show yourself grace. Are there things that she probably wishes that she could have done differently in her marriage? Sure. But you're not responsible for his decision to be unfaithful. That's him.
How does it make you feel to hear that? I mean, did it ever occur to you that like not only did you having an affair just it shattered our marriage, but it also, like, all of that guilt and shame, you like hoisted that on me. Like, you gave that to me. And now I have to carry that around for the rest of my life.
I don't think it's fair that as a society you're put in that position. It's certainly not true. And no, it's not something that I imagined as I was doing that. I think none of it was. If you really like let it sink in just how much you're hurting your partner and how devastating it is, like, how could you do that?
You wouldn't do it. You selfish and you don't care. Ding, 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 ding. That's it. He's not confused about his actions. He does not care. And once she accepts that, you'll be so much better. This conversation is something he felt he needed to do publicly, because he needed to move forward. This is about him. It's not about her.
It's still very difficult now, even 3 years later, to see you in pain as you're talking about that, because there's nothing I can do to change the past or to help.
It's a lot that you could do. You could move on.
It's kind of weird to think about it now, because I feel like I'm in a really good place now, and going back to like before I discovered the affair, it feels like going back to this weird fantasy world where like, I don't know, I thought we had this this love that like transcended, I don't know. But it was a fantasy. It was like, you know, I trusted you so completely. And I mean, we grew up together. We got married when we were like in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We were babies. We had nothing. I mean, we moved out to LA with just our car full of stuff. I mean, I'm like tearing up just thinking about it. We were just kids. And it's like, it really was a fantasy.
Things change, people change, circumstances change, though they may have been difficult. Those were probably some of the best moments in your relationships because you remember building with that person. And to me, that's what marriage is. You find someone that you love and that you want to build a life together. But the problem is that not everybody values that. And they're willing to risk it for a few minutes of pleasure and not understanding what they're giving up. Somebody that loves you for you, that's been there for you through thick and thin, is to be valued. A family is to be valued. And he gave that up. As always, remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Stay blessed.